Demons from Outer Space, episode 103. We're back again. Dylan McCandless, Super DM64. He's here. Say hi to the kids, D.
I'm always here. Is anybody surprised?
I don't think they're surprised. I think they're delighted, though. Or at least they're indifferent. They're like, oh, it's fine. He sometimes makes a funny joke.
If I wasn't here, it would just be a video of Bill, so it wouldn't even be DFOS. So, I mean, y'all know me.
It would be me going, I don't know what movies are anymore. I can't follow them. No, I can still follow movies. I just rewatched Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I understood most of what was going on. Except for
what's with all these damn non-linear movies? Put them in order.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes is one of those movies that's wonderfully linear. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tonight, in honor of apes, there was a trailer for War for the Planet of the Apes, the second trailer. That came out yesterday, or did it come out early today?
Early today, I think.
Oh, marvelous! And it shows us a bit more of what's going on. Although I just got the same general sense of the story that I got last time.
Actually, I didn't even know it was out until I saw a Facebook post of yours where you were like, "Oh, this trailer's fucking metal," and I was like, "Well, all right."
It is. It is. So let's discuss it a little bit. We are going to talk about some science articles tonight. We did say that we were going to take a week off, but we decided that there was no reason for that since we weren't really doing anything anyway. So we decided to we're still going to do Reliquary next week, probably. Yeah, we will. But
as long as I can get it listened to between now and then.
Yeah.
Not making any promises on that front, but hopefully we will be reviewing Reliquary next week.
If not, we will next time, and we'll put up stuff in between while we're trying to finish it. So whatever, you'll hear from us. Don't worry. But tonight we're going to talk about this here War for the Planet of the Apes trailer, and then we're also going to delve into some science articles that I've been saving up since our little hiatus post Week of Kong. So lots of stuff to cover tonight before we delve into that poorly conceived sequel to Relic. So
I only have one question for you, Bill.
What's your question?
What episode number is this?
103.
You're getting good at this.
I said that last time. No, last time. I said that like 2 seconds ago, you dickhead.
You did. I didn't.
I said it at the top. Well, you need to stop playing solitaire and start paying attention. No.
Listen, I can only listen to you do so many of these intros before I just start tuning them out. You know what I mean?
That's what the solitaire is for, so you can tolerate listening to me spout my same bullshit over and over again. All right, I'll give you something new.
How the fuck did you know I'm playing solitaire?
Because I can hear the beeping in the background. You can hear it in all the videos.
Well, fuck. I'll just mute the sound. How's that?
That would be marvelous. I never thought I would. I just never think to even ask because I'm just so used to it. I should for the sake of the audio quality, but does anybody even listen to these things? No, they do. We appreciate it. We really do. We really appreciate the support for the show and everything, and everybody keeping up with it every week or however you keep up with it, regularly or not. We just appreciate that you click the button. It's cool. So to that end, I'm gonna offer you something new, D. I'm not gonna spout the same shit over and over again. I think that white gorilla or whatever kind of ape that is, I think that's gonna be the lawgiver.
You've told me that before.
Oh! God damn it! I failed.
Now, wasn't the lawgiver originally an orangutan?
Well, it could be an orangutan. I mean, it does look like a gorilla, though, to me.
Right.
So maybe not.
I don't know about that. Maybe he is, and if so, that's really cool. However, I think we definitely have Aldo in this movie, and that's
I was gonna say that and steal that from you. Fuck you.
That's a new detail that was given to me by this trailer. There was no hints at that in the first trailer, but this time it's very clear that there is a gorilla who seems to be working with the humans, and I'm assuming he's going to be Aldo because there's only one gorilla that we know of in the original series who ever, duked it out with Caesar. And he's not doing the same thing that he did in the original franchise of trying to take over the ape civilization.
No, Koba filled that role.
Exactly. They already did that with Koba. So now, again, assuming that he's actually called Aldo, even if he's not actually called Aldo, he's pretty He's Aldo.
Yeah, I like that we're gonna get a prominent gorilla character. Buck in
Yeah,
Rise. Buck in Rise is cool, but he's not an integral part of the plot. He's a plot device, and he definitely emotionally resonates toward the end. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying that he's not a prominent character. I mean, and there really is only like 3 prominent ape characters in Rise. Well, I mean, it's really only one, and then the rest of them are all really minor supporting roles towards the end. It's pretty much just Caesar's story, and then everybody else just sort of happens around it. Dawn and this movie appear to be much more ensemble pictures, which I think is good.
Yeah, the gorillas really have gotten the shaft in this new franchise, unfortunately. You had the one in Rise, and it was that really cool scene where those gorillas grab that guy and drag him to Caesar in Dawn. That was very scary. But the gorillas just haven't really gotten to do much. It's a shame, because in the original series, the gorillas were always kind of the aggressive ones, which is hilarious, because in real life, gorillas are the most docile apes.
Hey, D, your audio's coming through a little scratchy. Can you just play with your headphones, make sure they're plugged in properly?
They're in there.
All right, that I guess that sounds a little better. It still sounds a little scratchy.
Might just be a connection issue. We've had some. It's spring now, and that means bad weather here in Tennessee.
That's unfortunate. Well, hopefully it doesn't crap out on us.
Yeah, hopefully Thor doesn't fuck my shit up as he has been known to in the past.
Okay.
But anyway, what was I saying?
Well, we hope that this is intelligible. Wait. Okay, no, we're still recording. Fuck, I thought it wasn't recording. I had a moment of panic. We're still good though. Hopefully the audio won't be too bad. It sounds you're intelligible for the moment. But damn, I've literally been sitting here for like 2 minutes, racking my brain, trying to figure out something new to say about this movie that I haven't said already. Like, I came away with a very similar sense that I did from the last trailer of just clearly there's been this war that has either been brewing or just been sort of happening lightly between the humans and apes, Woody Harrelson and Caesar, and something happens that brings it to a head. Caesar does something to the humans, maybe even accidentally, and then Woody Harrelson retaliates. Caesar then retaliates worse, and then things get bad from there. But in terms of the dirty details, we didn't get a sense of the gorilla character in the last trailer at all, so that is cool, and I do hope that turns out to be Aldo, because he's missing from this franchise, and if they're gonna bother to dig deep enough into the series to call your lead chimp protagonist Caesar, you gotta do Aldo, because Aldo's an integral part of that. He's in Caesar's introduction movie and in Caesar's sequel movie. I think
you would think so. You would think so, but they clearly have no qualms with playing around with the original timeline, because the blonde chick in this movie is supposed to be Nova, and she shouldn't be around for like a couple hundred years or so.
Oh, no, I'm not saying they have to be a slave to the original timeline. I'm just saying that if they're going to dig from that well, just use the characters, because it's cool, and it'll give you a good base base foundation to do something, cool and different with it. And it looks like they've done. Even if he's not called Aldo, it looks like they've done that. So his whole deal is,
and you'd be introducing the character to new audiences, but also longtime fans of the franchise will be like, I see what you did there, and then we can all be hipsters, and kids will be like, I really like Aldo, and I'm like, bitch, what you know about Aldo?
Yeah. He appears to be, again, if this is Aldo, in this version, like, helping the humans, presumably because he was with, I think the idea is he was with Koba in the last movie, and he didn't think that the other apes would take him back, and so now he's trying to help the humans because he thinks that he can find a place there, and
that probably is the idea. Yeah, I think he's a follower of Koba's who is angry that Caesar took over. Kind of a Lion King 2 situation for anyone out there who's familiar.
That is a good pull. Nice job.
With Lion King 2.
That makes a lot of sense.
I know my direct VHS Disney sequels from the 90s. I'm boned up on that shit. But
that was one of the few direct to VHS movies they reviewed on At the Movies with Siskel and Ebert. I remember that because they were like, we don't usually talk about these, but we all remember The Lion King, and the sequel's out, and it's on VHS, so we're going to talk about it. And they were like, it's not that great, but it's fine.
This time it's Romeo and Juliet with lions. So go watch that, I guess.
It's a weird version of Romeo and Juliet.
Well, Lion King's a weird version of Hamlet.
Fuck. I hope we get that in War for the Planet of the Apes. I want... Oh, I here's a new thing I haven't said on
You want
recording.
Hamlet?
I want Romeo and Juliet, but with apes and humans. I want a hot chimp lady making out with a fine human man, just like we've had in every other incarnation of the Planet of the Apes franchise. You got to have them locking lips at the end of the movie, right? That's necessary. It's got to happen.
You're the second human I've kissed. And Cornelius turns around to that blonde chick, and you are the first.
Oh, that's right. That happens in the third one too. You gotta do it, man. You gotta have him lock lips. Maybe Woody Harrelson should lock lips with Caesar. You know, they gotta make up after all the shit they did to each other. You know, they gotta be like, you know, we've done a lot of bad shit to each other, but we need to move past it. We need to work on our relationship. So they just kiss. You know, just to.
How great would it have been in that moment when Cornelius was like, and you are the first human I have kissed, and Zero just turned around and was like, don't you dare. Fucking hypocritical bitch.
Yeah, she has a really bad double standard.
Don't they all? Anyway.
So, what do you think is up with the dead humans we see in the trailer?
I think they're dead.
Why? Do you think the apes killed them?
That's my running theory. I mean, I don't have any evidence to the contrary.
Well, I only ask because in this trailer, when they show that, they're talking about the virus over that. So maybe there's some more aggressive, or just the virus is continuing to take down people. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, if you remember in the first trailer, that shot was over Woody Harrelson saying, nature has been punishing us ever since.
Right. It looks like there's some kind of bad weather that's also taken effect during this war. Which would be interesting. There is a lot of discussion about in like a lot of literature about like, oh, the natural order gets fucked up when there's insane conflict. So maybe I'm not saying that there's like, oh, the war is going to cause an actual winter or like a really bad snowstorm or something, but it could just be like something that happens to occur alongside it.
It's not like when your king is so bad that he somehow manages to cause a drought. Another Lion King reference. I'm rolling with these anyway. But you know what I really got a great sense of in this trailer?
What?
And a little bit in the first trailer too, but even more so now. I'm gonna fucking love Woody Harrelson in this movie.
Yeah,
I usually do. I usually do fucking love Woody Harrelson. I fell in love with him in Zombieland, and I've liked everything I've seen him in since. But man, he just comes across so cool and so badass in this trailer. And Matt Reeves, who is seems to be one of the great directing talents of our age now, has said that he is going to be terrifying in the movie. So the director's clearly impressed with the performance that's been put in. I think he's going to be what I thought Gary Oldman was going to be in the last movie. You know?
Yes, because Gary Oldman was very sensible in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, until the end. He went a little off the rails at the end for obvious reasons.
Not really. Not too bad.
Well, I mean,
they attacked him. They attacked him.
It's true. But I mean, Gary Oldman at the beginning of the would have at least been like, wait a minute, what? And like listen to what the guy was telling him. Gary Oldman at the end of the film was like, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Right. I get it. I mean, I get why what had to happen happened, but
I'm not saying that he was. It makes sense. I'm not saying that like he goes off the deep end and it's like, oh, that came out of nowhere. Like, no, of course he would be off the deep end at that moment, but he was off the deep end.
But it looks like Woody Harrelson is that the entire time because all that has happened already.
Yeah. Well, he strikes me as just one of those military types who are like, fucking monkeys, I'm going to kill them all. One of my favorite little details in this trailer is that one of the soldiers walking through the forest, on the back of his helmet, he has written Monkey Killer.
Yeah, I like that detail too. It has a very like Aliens vibe, doesn't it?
And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a reference to Full Metal Jacket. But it kind of reminds me of Full Metal Jacket because the main character in that movie, his helmet has "Born to Kill" written on it.
I also got the sense of just like we're gonna see some really intense like battle sequences in this on a level that we haven't seen in these movies yet. Like Rise has the one scene where they cross the bridge and they run through the city towards the end. But they're fucking up cops and animal control and shit like that. They're not taking down like military people. And in Dawn, it's a tribal group of apes versus a survivalist group of people. So it's still pretty realistically scaled. But we're gonna get a full-on just like series of battles in this movie between armies of apes and armies of people fully equipped to the teeth for war.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, I mean, not only do we have apes on horseback in this trailer, we also have had apes with bows and arrows. It's like a whole other level.
It doesn't look like they're going to be using a lot of guns. And how do you feel about that?
I think maybe the apes in this version have like a stance against guns.
Oh, no, well, I mean, actually, that's not right, because Caesar's got a gun on him on the poster.
Right. I think it's just a matter of, I think it's going to be like, kind of like what happened with the Native Americans, They don't have the capacity to make guns themselves. They just take them occasionally when they have the chance. So whenever it comes to them actually having to forge their own weapons, they're pretty much limited to making bows and arrows.
Oh, that's true. So I guess they don't rely on guns because they can't make them themselves, but they
right.
will
I mean, if they find a gun, obviously, I mean, what wouldn't you?
Right. Do you think that they'll reappropriate a lot of military equipment in this, or they'll just be like, we need to do this ourselves, build our own strategy? It looks to me like we're going to see a mix of both, right?
Yeah, I think if they have the opportunity to take some gear that the humans leave behind, I mean, you'd be stupid not to. I'd love to see like an ape wearing an army helmet at some point. That'd be great.
There is a shot in the trailer where it looks like a helicopter is coming at people on the human side. So it looks like maybe one of them gets in a copter and flies it. Would you buy that they could learn how to fly helicopters?
I would buy it simply because it would be a really cool reference to the original book, because in the original book it was like all super high tech and like the apes had helicopters and shit.
That's
so
right.
If they have an ape jump in a helicopter in this movie, because you got to remember in the original film they made the decision to go low tech for budgetary reasons. So if they have an ape in this movie actually jump into a helicopter and start driving it around, I'll take that as like a really cool reference.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to. I mean, there are Jurassic Park comics where velociraptors learn how to fly helicopters, so why not?
It's another one of those situations where they wouldn't be able to make helicopters, but I can buy them, like, getting a hold of one and using it, I mean, we already had them driving a tank in the first movie, so why the fuck not?
Right. Let me ask you this. Do you want to see a big time skip at the end of this?
Maybe. If it feels organic to the ending of the movie. I mean, obviously we haven't seen the movie yet, so we're not going to know. We don't know how it's going to end. I have a feeling maybe that Caesar won't be coming out of this movie alive.
No, I don't think so. I think Andy Serkis will be done after this. Do you think that they'll find a new character to focus on? Maybe Nova, maybe a new ape?
They're definitely going to want to... See, if they're going to want to make more movies after this, then yeah, I think you time skip. I think you go a little bit further into the future and you do a more traditional version of the Planet of the Apes world.
I agree.
And then tell the story that way.
Yeah. I think we've got to get... I almost feel like we have to get... This is the origin stuff still. And it's really good. And they're not just doing origin, they're telling real stories in the aesthetic of Planet of the Apes origin. And it's really cool, but they're telling real Planet of the Apes stories, and that's what's great about it. It's stuff that we've never thought to see before, but we're seeing it, and it's fascinating. But we need to get to a point...
another 10 movies focusing on fucking Blue Eyes or the younger brother, Caesar's other child, who I think is the ape he's talking to in that one scene, the one that's talking about, like, not me, I run. I think that might be the baby that we saw born in the last movie.
Really?
He looked young.
Wow, he didn't look young to me. He looked fucked up. He looked crazy and deformed.
Maybe I have to watch the trailer again, but he looked small to me compared to the other apes. So I thought maybe that was the kid.
It looks to me like, see, I didn't get that because I didn't get a sense of familiarity between him and Caesar, even if Caesar didn't recognize him or whatever.
I
I
also
got
thought he was younger because he wasn't talking to the same degree that Caesar was, and I think at this point maybe we're going to have like a lot more apes that
But
can speak.
he talked pretty clearly though, he was talking a lot more. He talked a lot more than the other apes in the trailer did. Like, I don't think we heard Maurice talk, do we?
We haven't heard anybody talk except for him and Caesar. And
Well,
Caesar in this movie is fucking Shakespeare compared to the last movie.
well, Caesar starts talking towards the end of that movie because he starts talking to the humans more.
Right. He sort of practices out of necessity. And I guess being at war with them, he's had more run-ins with them, so he's had to use his English skills more often.
Well, no,
I think
but he starts talking to his son like that too.
true. But I think the war is probably the catalyst for the apes like moving out of their sign language culture and starting to speak more verbally because they start needing to communicate with the humans that they're, battling with and negotiating with and all the things that you have to do in war. So I think that might be why, because in the first movie they were pretty content to just use sign language, or not the first movie, the last movie, they were pretty content to just use sign language most of the time,
It's kind of a silent movie for the first like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of genius for that.
Yeah.
I always love long stretches of no dialogue where you can still tell a story. Mind you, they had the little cheat of the sign language. I mean, they're not really no dialogue, but no spoken dialogue. Everything's visual.
You know what I really love about this series? They're just non-traditional blockbusters. They're not like action fests. They're totally thematically driven. Like Rise of the Planet of the Apes has like zero action in it. It's this super personal story about this animal. I mean, it's a science fiction story, but there's zero action in it until the very end. Like, there's a few moments where like Caesar will lunge at somebody or whatever, but there's nothing to the extent of like what's towards the end where they're ripping apart cars and stuff, or there's nothing to the extent of what we get towards the end of Dawn where they're running around on horses with dual machine guns.
Well, the original movies were always super cerebral, and I think they tried to go in more of like a just action blockbuster direction with the Tim Burton one, and it didn't work. So now they're like, well, we'll go back to the roots and we'll make these movies smart again. And it's really they've
taken it farther than I even think the original ones do, though. Even the first movie, like maybe not the original novel. If anything, I think this is just more in line with the original novel, which I still have to read. But it feels that way to me.
It's an old book and it's in French, so who knows how well it reads in English.
There's an audiobook on Audible that's apparently like great, so I'm just gonna read that at some point. I think I have a credit on there. I'll get that, and then I'll reward. I'll reward myself with that after I listen to Reliquary again, because that's gonna be a fucking ordeal. That book is just way too long. Ugh, we'll get to it.
Why are you reviewing Reliquary, Bill? Anyway,
sorry. I guess that means we're kind of. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the Apes trailer?
Yeah, but I got to think of it now because I lost my train of thought.
Let me think then. I was gonna say something before. So I think we need to get to the point in these movies where it's like past the astronaut stuff. Don't you want to see like new ground for these movies? Like you want to get past the point where like we have modern people interacting with the advanced apes, or just like intelligent humans interacting with the intelligent apes. We need to get past that point.
I would like to get there eventually, but I don't think you can start there because you still kind of have to have, Taylor showing up and being like, the fuck is all this?
Do we have to do the animalistic people?
Not necessarily. I mean,
okay,
that would be up to them.
That's what I'm asking, though. Do you think you wipe people out completely and then have them return and be the only people, the astronauts?
I don't know, because then you lose that great thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because it's like...
in the original movie, that great dynamic of like... because if the astronauts go to the distant future, the apes wouldn't have a reason to hate them because they would have never seen a man before at that point. Like, how do they even know that's a man? You got to have some kind of man around at the time that they can compare it to and be like, that's a talking man, my God.
Instinctually, they might be like, oh, fuck this, enemy.
Possibly, I don't know, but that'd be harder to get across.
They're not going to be really instinct-based at that point anyway if it's going to go like the traditional Apes movies where they have like just a human society. They're going to be more like, I'd really like to fuck my girlfriend, but my job is getting in the way. So they're not going to be so much like instinct-based. That's what
I
I
think
love.
maybe
That's what I love
version-
about that first movie is they just do this like cute relationship stuff between Cornelius and Zira, and it's totally genuine. But for a moment, you just go, "These are fucking apes! Like, what the fuck?"
Yeah. That's why I kind of go in between Escape and Conquest, but sometimes Escape, when I'm watching it, I'm like, this is like my favorite fucking ape sequel from the original series because it's just so cool to see Cornelius and Zira, and they're hanging out, and oh look, now they're in the human world, and it's like the first movie in reverse. Isn't that cool? And then the ending is so like fucking like dark, and but then you watch Conquest, and it's equally good. So I really don't know which one I like better out of the two. It kind of depends which one I'm watching at the moment.
Mm.
But
I've always liked Beneath a lot. I think it's still one of my favorite of the sequels. I know it's not for a lot of people, but for me, I know people don't like the replacement Taylor or Charlton Heston's death or anything about that, but I like the ending, and I like Ursus, and I like Dr. Zaius. I like all that shit.
Which, by the way, Fox, bring back the mutants, please.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're gonna get a variant of that in this. I feel like they have to do something with the virus. They need to bring it back in some way. It needs to come back in some vicious form, or
What you do is you have the virus mutate, so that some people it like dumbs down the way that so that you have a conceit for making the people non-speaking in the future.
oh, that's a great idea. There you go.
And then other people have the sort of opposite reaction, and they sort of evolve into these weird creatures with advanced brains and shit.
Maybe so. What would they? I think what you do is you do a design where it's like the virus just like distorts their nervous system to completely focusing on the brain, and the rest of the body just kind of goes lax. Maybe they're kind of cripples or whatever.
I think what you do is you just get like really sort of frail-looking people. Like they don't have to be so frail that they can't move around, but sort of people with sort of, smaller builds, skinny bodies, short. But you like then through the power of makeup, or I guess digital now, you give them like fucking huge bulbous brains.
There you go. No, I say do it with makeup. I think it'd be nice to have the practical effects mirrored against the apes.
So at a certain point, they start to look like fucking aliens. Like they don't even look human anymore because they've got these tiny bodies and these big heads. Like they look like gray aliens at that point. And I think that'd be cool. I would also love, and they will never do this, never, ever, ever. But by the time you get to the point where the apes are super intelligent and they're walking upright and like we're remaking the original movie essentially, at that point, just do the makeup. Because the best thing about the Tim Burton movie, because the best part about the Tim Burton movie is the makeup in that movie looks amazing, even today. Like that's one thing you can't.
They might not have the budget. I guess they would if they have the budget for the digital effects. I guess they would have the budget for the makeup. Maybe not though.
They won't do it. I don't think they'll do it anyway. Maybe if a director comes along.
Yeah, but then they can't have them do as much though, D.
What do you mean? That's the great thing about the ape makeup. Really, the only thing you're limiting is the face. Did you see the range of motion those apes had in the first movie? I mean, in the Tim Burton movie? And also, prosthetics and makeup have advanced to the point where you're not even limiting their facial expressions that much.
Maybe they should do a mix of both.
It isn't like a kaiju where, like, doing it in CG gives you this license to have them do all kinds of crazy shit that you couldn't do with a suit. The makeup actors could already pretty much move around and do whatever they had to do.
They oughta start with the practical makeup and then do CG touch-ups to make the skin move more organically.
Because I don't know when the last time is that you watched the Tim Burton movie.
Not very recently.
But I see it periodically. I have a lot of nostalgia for that movie, and there are things in it that I like. Things about like that version of the mythos. So every now and then I'll like give it a watch. I also like the score, but
that's the only thing I like about that movie is the score.
Oh, the score's pretty great, but the makeup in that movie is really top notch.
The makeup. I like the makeup too.
Michael Clarke Duncan in that movie. Holy shit!
And I like Michael Clarke Duncan in that movie. I like him too.
Tim Roth.
Yeah, he kind of chews the scenery.
That's what I like. I like a villain who chews the scenery. I'm a sucker for that. That's why I love the guy in Final Wars.
I also don't understand his character at all. So
Who, Thade?
Yeah.
He's a mean monkey.
Oh, I see.
Well, well, that is one thing also that I will give the Tim Burton movie, is that they're more accurate in their portrayals of the different kinds of apes. So, like, in real life, gorillas are kind of tame and chimpanzees are fucking psychotic. But in all the Planet of the Apes movies up until Tim Burton, the chimpanzees were like, oh, the nice apes, and the gorillas were, like, super violent. In the Tim Burton version, they actually went more scientifically accurate in that way, in that the gorillas in that movie are, like, really sort of, like, docile, and they're warriors, but they sort of have this honor code. They're almost like furry samurai. And the chimpanzees are fucking violently insane, which is true to life.
Right. That's totally true, and we haven't really gotten maybe much of that in this series. Although I guess because the chimpanzees have taken center stage, that you can argue that they're more aggressive because they're more vigorous, they're more taking charge as opposed to the gorillas who are more passive.
I think maybe the idea, I think that maybe the idea in this series, because of the way they set up the whole intelligence thing, I think maybe the virus that advanced their brains might have sort of gotten rid of some of those tendencies. Although
That's
we did
fair.
see it very pronounced in Koba. Koba sort of embodies the sort of darker side of chimpanzees.
Yeah,
If anybody out
totally.
there isn't aware, chimpanzees are fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're just as terrifying as people are.
I mean, you grew up watching Dunstan Checks In, and you think, oh, I'd love to hang out with a chimp. Don't go anywhere near it.
Dunstan checks in as an orangutan.
It's an orangutan? Oh,
Yeah.
shit. What's a chimp movie? There are chimp movies.
MVP, most valuable primate.
Thank you. Never saw that movie, but I did see the commercials.
Everybody's
on almost every
nobody
VHS.
saw the movie. Everybody saw the trailer for most valuable primate, though.
Did you see Most Valuable Primate,
No,
Bill?
I saw the trailer for most valuable primate, though.
Mm-mm. You know what else I used to always see the trailer for on old VHS tapes? Free Willy, but not the first one. It's always like Free Willy 2 or Free Willy 3 or Free Willy the Willying or whatever the
Oh
fuck
my
the other
god,
sequels
Free
were
Willy
called.
2 is great because there's a fire in it. It's awesome.
I see. Anyway.
That's all I needed, man, was just fire. Whales swimming under
Anyway.
fire.
Anyway, there's an Apes movie coming out. It's gonna be great, so.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. So, Dee, do you want to try and delve into some science articles then and leave the world of science fiction behind?
Let's do it.
All right, I got some things here for you. So should we start with the prehistoric news update? We're usually into that sort of thing. So according
I do love prehistory.
according to IFL Science, the story of the dinosaurs, get this, is about to get a major rewrite. Apparently what you and I know is about to be fucking turned upside down. They're going to pull the carpet out from under us. Are you ready, D?
My God, who's rewriting Jurassic Park?
Robin Andrews. He's staring up at the ceiling ponderously in his account photo, so that's a good sign, I think.
I'm going to be so pissed if this article turns out to be a reboot of The Land Before Time.
Let's see if it's a reboot of anything except the creationist attempt to mix dinosaurs with the Bible stories. So a new nature study threatens to turn more than a century's worth of paleontology on its head. As it turns out, we may have been thinking about dinosaurs wrong all this time, and it's all thanks to an overly strong focus on nothing less than their pelvises.
Bill, is this really going to be a creationist article, or were you just joking?
I was fucking I was fucking kidding. I don't know. I didn't read this.
Thank God.
We'll find
you have
out.
No idea the kind of you have no idea the kind of shit that the creationists are pulling out there, Bill. Ugh.
I know. I've been to their meetings. You know, I try to have input.
You said that, and I was like, oh God, Ken Ham's going to be all over this, isn't he? But okay, go ahead.
No, Robin Andrews isn't into that. It doesn't look like. He's got a pretty cool picture of a Spinosaurus in here, actually. Once upon a time, for around 180 million years, non-avian dinosaurs, meaning non-bird dinosaurs, ruled the world. Scientists decided to split them between two primary groups: the Orthoschis and the S1. The former included the docile Iguanodon, the armored Triceratops, and the spiked Stegosaurus, whereas the latter featured...
How did they know that iguanodons were docile?
Well, you see, they looked at their pelvises and they were like, If I was that pelvis, I'd be pretty fucking docile. Or if I had that pelvis, I'd be pretty fucking docile, wouldn't you? And then the guy who was chilling with was just like, yep.
I like to think that they watched Disney's Dinosaur, and they were like, oh, those are pretty chill dudes, those iguanodons.
Hanging out with monkeys and shit, which is total bullshit. I don't know what the hell was going on there. There were no kinds of primates at the time of the dinosaurs, right? Reassure me on that. I'm right on that, right?
No, there were very small, very primitive mammals.
Yeah, like rodents and stuff,
that were only just starting to not be lizards.
Right. Well, no. There were shrews and stuff. There were some sort of mice, I think. But they were all like burrowers and stuff, living under the ground because they were so scared they were going to get eaten by dinosaurs.
My fan theory has always been that Disney's Dinosaur is a prequel to King Kong, because all those dinosaurs and those monkeys go to this one place on Earth that's safe, and then they survive. Then that place can split off and become Skull Island. The dinosaurs continue to evolve. The monkeys evolve into Kong. Bada bing, bada boom. 30s happen.
It seems more like a prequel to the Valley of Gwangi to me, because it's in like a valley and shit, and they have to go through like a cave to get in there.
Yeah, well, everything was just part of the valley before Pangea broke up, Bill.
Oh, so the Valley of Gwangi is the origin point for every single like dinosaur-based like lost civilization. Skull Island, the Land Unknown.
Valley of Gwangi, the fucking place.
Dinosaurs from the TV show Dinosaurs.
I'm telling you, that's just my fan theory. It's only my fan theory because of the monkeys. I'm like, finally, a dinosaur story that can account for how Kong.
So you're saying that those white monkeys fucked and eventually one of them turned into King Kong?
They evolved into King Kong. You're oversimplifying evolution here.
I'm lining up with those creationist people you hate so much. All right,
so the monkeys fucked, and then one of them was born a giant gorilla. I'm like, no.
All right,
that's not how it works.
Let me continue my education then here. So,
we've been too focused on their pelvises, but I mean, can you blame us?
So what on earth, you may be wondering, originally segregated dinosaurs into these two incredibly diverse groups? Well, it was the structure of their hip/pelvis. When it came into two distinct variants, and for 130 years, this has defined the two major dinosaurian groups for scientists. This new study, composed by researchers at the University of Cambridge and London's Natural History Museum, oh, look at them, took a look at an incredibly wide range of early dinosaurs in order to reassess the wisdom of basing so much of the two different types on hips/pelvis. So it seems to be the two kind of groups of dinosaurs that we all think of, the Ornithischia and the Saurisschia, the bird ones and the non-bird ones, as I like to say.
Yeah, those are the two main big groups. You have, your sauropods, they walk around like lizards. And then your theropods are the ones that walk around. Well,
they don't walk around like lizards. They walk around like lizards with really strong legs.
Well, what I mean is they walk around on all fours.
Yeah.
Like a lizard. Their legs aren't structured the same way as a lizard, but they walk on all fours.
There are sauropods that do walk on two legs, though.
But then you have your theropods, and they're the ones with the bird hips. And they go around being all birdie.
Exactly. Well worded, D. Yeah. What would I do without you? What would science do without you? So,
I know, right?
Apparently that's wrong, though. Apparently that's bullshit. Do you believe that? Are you willing to accept that?
No.
All right,
Fuck him.
Well, let's see. Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
You cannot take several hundred years of dinosaur crotch science away from us.
So you're really going to doubt the University of Cambridge and London's Natural History Museum because you're
what do they know?
I don't know. Apparently not much, according to you. So I'm maybe going to call that into question myself. If I'm ever in London, I might not pay $1. I pay a shilling to go into the London Natural History Museum. But
I'm still on the fence about the whole feathers thing. What the fuck are you bringing this to me for?
But they discovered that at least 21 other physical features, including sharp attachments to jawbones and very distinct bones in their feet and claws, mean that the theropod group, which contained velociraptors, a bunch of other ones, is actually a sister group to Ornithischia, not the Saurisschia. Okay. In retrospect...
So what they're saying is there should probably be the two groups and the other system was overly simple. Duh, life's complicated. Like, why do we need an entire article to tell us this? Yeah, there should probably be more than two groups, more than just. I think the pelvis is a good place to start. You got to go beyond that and be like, oh, there's one with the bird pelvis, but also the head shaped like a dick. What's that about? And then,
So you're saying that it should be three groups in theory, right?
Not three, however group you need to cover all the different distinctions that we find.
I see. Okay. So but at that point you're just getting into identifying different species then.
Yeah, it's all taxonomical bullshit and
And who's having any fun with that these days, you know? We all want to get to the dinosaur pussy. That's what we're all about.
But they had cloacas, so it's a universal struggle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think we got all we were gonna get out of that. We got the point. You seem to not agree. It's just see, they're saying that they're saying the entire history of dinosaur evolution has been thrown into disarray. I don't see it either.
No, I think yeah, you have two different kinds of pelvises. Maybe that's not the best way to determine what group something belongs in. Maybe you should look at more than one factor. Sure. Fine, that makes a lot of sense based on the diversity of life that we see today. But it's also paleontology, and we're kind of working with scraps here, so what are you going to do?
Although the idea seems to be that theropods should not be included in the Saurischian, and they should be included in the Ornithischian because they're more bird-like because of the different distinctions that you see when you look into more of them. So I think that they're saying that more of the dinosaurs should be included in the other group as opposed to the one that they're in, because if you look more into the details. I think that that's also what they're saying. But again, at a certain point, it's just you're just identifying different species as opposed to different, entire groups. So I guess we'll find out in the future how many different groups of dinosaurs there are. And it'll not matter because they will have been dead for millions of years anyway. So, whose time was really wasted then? I guess ours, because we're the ones who did a podcast about it. Let's move on, shall we? So why don't we move on to this is not so much like a science article as much as it is like I guess a social life article. So here's the article. Reality TV contestants return after surviving a year in the woods to find they had no audience. So did you hear about this? There was apparently a group of people who went off into the woods to do a reality TV show. And apparently while they were off in the woods, the show got canceled and they were not informed and they just continued doing it.
That's fucking great.
Right?
That would be like if you went on that show Naked and Afraid and like you had the word. You ever watch Naked and Afraid?
I'm familiar with it.
Horrifying, some of the shit that these people go through. You go, you do that show, you have a terrible time, you get bitten by like a rattlesnake or something, you're on death's door, but you're like, I'm staying the full 21 days, damn it. And you don't leave, your partner leaves, you're all alone, you just have the worst time possible on Naked and Afraid. And some of them do go that bad. One girl was reduced to eating parrot brains. Anyway.
Parrot brains? Oh my god.
Yeah, she had to kill a parrot and eat its brain. Anyway.
Do you see it happen?
Or I think she might have found a dead parrot and like ate the brain. I don't remember. Anyway.
Oh my god, that's so much worse than if she would have just killed it herself.
Anyway, you get back to civilization, you find, and like, you're like, oh, they're going to air my episode on such and such date, and you're waiting for it, and then just before they can get aired, they fucking cancel the show. How fucking mad would you be?
Well, I think at this point that they were still filming while they canceled it, or they thought they were still filming it. Let's find out, shall we? Last year, 23 contestants were sent out by Channel 4, this is in Scotland, by the way, to build a community from scratch and survive in the woods for a new social experiment reality show called Eden, which asked viewers, what if we could start again?
Why did that get canceled? That actually sounds fascinating. People in Scotland not interested, I guess.
I guess not. Well,
too busy with their haggis.
They're too busy searching for the Loch Ness Monster. 4 crew members...
Well, I could watch that very interesting TV program, but I've got to eat me haggis.
While looking for the Loch Ness Monster. 4 crew... And also you got to look out for that radioactive sediment. It's rotting their brains. They can't process compelling television anymore. 4 crew members were sent out to capture the brave contestants, building a self-sufficient community without the convenience of modern tools and surviving an entire year without modern-day conveniences, including the internet. And there was plenty of drama of biblical proportions. Sexual jealousy, physical altercations, and extreme hunger fueled tensions in the wild that, over time, whittled the number of contestants from 23 to 10. So what, did they fucking die? Unlike CBS's Survivor, these participants...
I think, like, on Naked and Afraid, I'm assuming it's the same way. On Naked and Afraid, you can quit at any time. Like, the fucked up thing about the entire situation, when you really stop and think about it, is you're surviving out in the wilderness. But, like, the camera crew and the producer, they're living in, like, a trailer, like, in the woods with, like, all the modern conveniences.
Right, you would hate them, wouldn't you? You'd be like, fuck you dickhead. Give me some fucking popcorn. Like, Jesus Christ, give me a fucking beer or some shit, you asshole.
So at any time, you can quit the show. Or, like, they're also there because, you know, if something should happen and you need immediate medical attention, which has happened before, you know, they have, you know, EMTs and shit on scene. But anyway, so I'm assuming this show is probably the same way. It sounds like a bunch of people were like, fuck this, and they went back to Scotland and ate their haggis.
Why didn't they find out the show was canceled, though, and relay the message back?
Maybe they didn't have any way of relaying the message back. I mean, it sounds like they were out in the fucking woods.
All right, well, we're going to find out. Oh, okay, so it actually aired some of the episodes, so you can actually watch part of the show. Eden snuffed itself out when the network stopped airing the show after only 4-hour-long episodes appeared in July and August. The show's flame struggled to ignite a spark among viewers back home. Also, you were right, the good Scottish people were too obsessed with their haggis and the Loch Ness Monster. Eden's viewership dropped from 1.8 million to a staggering 800,000. Oh my god, wow.
I know my people.
The show was taken off the air, but filming resumed for the rest of the year without the contestants being informed of the calamity in the hopes that the network would air more episodes at a later date. So, I guess that they were like, I'll keep going, but they knew that they weren't going to do it. Momentum for the show slowed to a halt as official...
It sounds like they didn't cancel it outright. It sounds more like they were like, oh, we're going to sort of put it on hold while we decide what to do. But go ahead and make more because we might start airing it again. And then they never did.
Momentum for the show slowed to a halt as official Eden social media accounts, including Twitter and Instagram, froze. This photo of a contestant holding a goat, an example of one of the many exciting things that happens when you're surviving out in the 600-acre... Oh, this is a hard word. This is why I hate doing this. Ardnamurchan Peninsula was the last activity on Twitter. And it's just a bearded Scottish teenager holding a goat. Very adorable. The first contestants to leave, Tara Zielman, drew criticism from the show.
You know what they say? You can't make haggis without breaking a few goats.
Very true. She called it quits after being bullied from male cast members. Inevitably, others followed suit. Oh. So there were people fucking leaving. A source told The Sun, Eden was definitely an experiment, and it hasn't gone well. The Scottish Highlands are not glamorous, and it's a big ask to get people to give up a whole year of their lives. There have been exits after Tara, and that has been another setback. Channel 4 plans on showing viewers the rest of the year's worth of footage if there are any viewers left after the hiatus. The network said, the appeal of Eden is that it was a real experiment, and when filming began, we had no idea what the results would be and how those taking part would react to being isolated for months in a remote part of the British Isles. That's why we did it, and the story of their time, including the highs and lows, will be shown later this year. 25-year-old...
It actually sounds really fascinating. I kind of wish it had gotten finished.
It's a pretty fascinating tale. 25-year-old... It doesn't sound too bad so far. Maybe something will happen. 25-year-old outdoor instructor Tom Waugh, great name, is another contestant who prematurely came... Ooh, that's no good. He prematurely came out of the woods. He explained on Twitter...
Oh my.
I left because it wasn't what I was told it was going to be. You know, that's what you tell every girl when you're prematurely come.
Well, it's probably, it's probably cold in the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah, probably. What you see on TV is all bullshit. You're not seeing the whole picture. The program is extremely misleading. So it's not, he's saying like, oh, the TV, what you're seeing on TV does not in any way reflect what's actually going on. Maria McPherson, a local resident, told reporters that the show was a joke. She said some of the participants were even seen in the dentist at Fort Williams needing treatment after eating chicken feed grit. It has not done this area any favors. It has just not lived up to expectations. The show was also lambasted by animal welfare groups when contestant Rob, a vet, sliced open a pregnant sheep and yanked out an unborn lamb. Both the EWE and Lamb. I'm sorry. Both the ewe and Lamb. I guess.
The fucking lamb.
Wait, the ewe and Lamb were taken back to camp and were prepared to be eaten by the contestants. Oh my god.
Again, you can't make haggis without breaking.
The year is now up, and the remaining contestants came home to many rude awakenings. While left to fend for themselves and building their own society, they were not aware of Prime Minister Theresa May, Premier League champions Leicester City, Brexit, and Donald Trump. For these survivors, the fact that nobody cared to watch Eden may be the most painful news of all. So the point is, they had no idea what was going on.
Trump. Imagine you've gone off and you've lived in the wilderness for a year.
Oh, don't
come
tempt
back
me.
Looking like you come back looking like fucking Tom Hanks in Castaway. You haven't seen a fucking woman.
Again, don't tempt me.
You haven't seen a fucking woman in like 5 months. Like you haven't eaten in weeks.
It sounds exactly the same as my life right now. Now that you've gotten to that side of it.
You get home, and that's when you find out that Donald Trump is not the president of the United States of America.
I'm just like, wrong.
And maybe if you hadn't made the decision to go off and live in the woods for a year, maybe your vote could have turned the tide.
Maybe you could have stopped it personally, yeah. Wow, you got to live with that. We've all got to learn to live with that, I think. Well, what a fascinating tale, right? If you had been through that and you came back and you found out that the show,
well, I never would have signed up to be on the show unless.
What if they were paying you $1 million an episode?
If they were paying me $1 million an episode and it was also a hoax and we weren't actually doing any of that shit, those would be my two conditions, and then I would do it.
No, it's got to be real though.
Yeah, because everything on reality TV is real, right?
Apparently this wasn't, but I'm saying in this situation it would be $1 million an episode, but it's all got to be real.
In this hypothetical?
Yeah.
This is a lot better than the last time you posed me a hypothetical. The last time you posed me a hypothetical, it involved the reanimated corpse of Donald Pleasance, and shit got weird. But
I don't remember this at all, but okay.
The one where never mind.
Just answer the current one. I remember that one.
What the fuck was it, dude? No, it's a year in the woods. I don't even go out of my house if I can avoid it. Like
$10 million an episode.
No, see, no. Well, 10 million, you say?
10 million for 13 episodes.
Can I get a trailer?
No, you gotta do it for real, I said. You gotta live in the woods. You gotta rough it.
You know what? Fuck it. I'd stick around for a few episodes, and then I would be like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, and I'd quit the show, but I'd already have, like, multiple 10 millions of dollars.
Nope, you don't get any of the money then. You gotta stay there for the whole time.
Well, then fuck it. I need to spend a year in the fucking wilderness. Fuck it.
Alright, fair enough.
I'll just rob a bank the American way.
I wouldn't do it either. I'm with you. It sounds like total horseshit to me.
There's a lot of money there.
No, totally. That's fair. I mean, if it wasn't real, I would totally do it. But the sheer fact that
it's $130 million.
You know what I really think, genuinely, just to be serious about it, I just don't think it's something that's worth getting real with this kind of thing for.
I mean, that's anytime a hypothetical gets to like, fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, at that point I'm like, I don't even know at that point. I've never seen that much money. Somebody offers me that much money.
Not for reality TV, because they're not going to take it seriously enough to do the experiment properly. If it was an actual lab doing it, fine. But no, this is a bunch of fucking network executives going, you know what would be cool, man? That's the Scottish network executives.
I say we make a show about haggis.
They sound a lot like the turtles from fucking Finding Nemo. We should, like, take a bunch of people and, like, put them in the woods.
Well, man, what do we call it? I think we call it, like, people in the woods, bro. No, it's gotta have, like, some, like, name that, like, sounds smart and shit. So, like, how about, like, fucking, like, I don't know, I just saw Logan. How about Eden?
Oh, there you go. Pop culture reference for you.
Well, that sounds cool. It's all, like, biblical and shit. Yeah, let's do it. How about some haggis?
Marvelous. Well, all right then. So do you want to move on to one more? Because I'm feeling pretty tired, but I think I got one more in me. You got one more in you?
I feel like maybe that's the thing, like, executives do in Scotland. Like, in America, like, executives go out to, like, oh, let's go out to lunch and have some fucking, like, I don't know, something that's trendy. I feel like in Scotland, it's like, want to go out for haggis?
Do you want to go out for haggis, D?
No, but I would like to do another article.
All right, here we go. I got one more for you. This island has never been... This is from Unilad. This island has never been explored because local tribe kills all visitors.
Well, then why don't we just kill the local tribe? Jesus.
Nobody understands how white people work anymore. No.
Exactly. Like, come on. We had this down to a science at some point.
A silence.
We had it down to a science. Well, they were pretty silent when it was all over with.
It's true.
We had this shit down to a science, and now it seems like we've forgotten how this shit worked. All of early human history was just different groups of people fighting to see who was going to be on top. We fucking won, and now we're just sort of sitting here like, I don't want to hurt anybody. Like, ugh.
Anyway, as I was saying, let's read this article, shall we? You often hear of people traveling to Thailand and India, but little did you know that just off the coast of them both is a banned island that nobody can explore. From up above the island is a beautiful, tranquil paradise, but try to set foot on North Sentinel Island and you'll either be killed or seriously injured. So apparently the Sentinels from X-Men will come out and fucking get you on.
Maybe that's why we haven't tried to kill them. No.
The North Sentinel Islands is situated directly in the middle of the Indian Ocean, providing picturesque views to all around. Just no tourists will ever be able to see them because of a murderous tribe. The Sentinelese tribe have called the island home for over 60,000 years, and it is thought to hold sun, sand, and delicious exotic fruit. However, every time people have tried to go to the island, they've been chased away by spear-wielding men, and those that got away are the lucky ones. Back in 2006, a pair of fishermen who ventured too close to the island were reportedly captured by the tribe and butchered. Every humanitarian effort to help the indigenous people after the 2004 tsunami nearby were met with conflict, with awestruck tribesmen shooting arrow at helicopters attempting to drop food and aid packages onto the island. Wow.
Well, fuck them then.
Yes, I mean, definitely. Just leave them to their own devices. That's just, you're never going to... It's not going to be good for anybody.
Why are you trying to help these people? Wait for them to die, and then we can explore the island. Jesus.
I'm going to send you a link to this, because the imagery is pretty striking, because you just see... It's all from the water. It's all people on boats taking imagery of the people on this island. Like, there's no images.
Okay, I feel like these people, the way I feel like the fucking pandas. Like, why are we even trying to help them at this point? Fuck them.
Why do you think they don't want people on their island? Do you think it's just a general fear of outsiders, or do you think that there's something specific that they don't want people to take?
I think they're just super isolationist. I think maybe they understand, what more people coming to your land means traditionally. Do
you think that they acknowledge that we're maybe not more advanced, but we have more resources?
Possibly. I mean, problem is everybody who's gone there has probably gone there like, oh, we're going to take some photographs and we're going to commune with the natives. Obviously, these are not the kind of people you approach that way. You know what I mean? If anybody seriously wants to get on this island, nobody has the balls to do this anymore. They're going to have to go there with some cold, hard steel and teach them a lesson about the modern world.
By cold, hard steel, do you mean like like steel beams that they used to make buildings, like and just ram them into them, or do you mean like guns and swords and knives?
Fuck it, you don't even have to use guns. These fools got spears. Go in there decked out like it's fucking 13th century France. You can still take the joint over. You know?
I'd like to see. I'd like to see you try.
We've had thousands of years of technological advancement, and they're still chucking spears.
Mm. You don't. So you don't think they're hiding like a giant monkey on that island or something?
What if they were?
Oh, wouldn't that just be the greatest if somebody got on the island and they're like, "Yo, there is a giant monkey on the island." Maybe not a giant monkey.
I'd be like, shit, bring him to New York.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, we might as well remake the rest of the story in reality. Let life imitate art. Maybe it's just like this. Maybe it's just a berry that provides a strong narcotic effect that they want to use to market a pharmaceutical company. Who knows? Who knows?
Clearly, this is our destiny now to just be King Kong. So let's fucking bring him to New York. Fuck it. We'll use fucking flimsy ass chains and show them to the public. Or better yet, let's put him in a nightclub. Then 3 drunk guys can stagger backstage and get them all fucked up.
Are you looking at the article I sent you? Are you looking at the videos that people take from boats from the water?
I'm looking at it. I haven't played any of the videos.
No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to. Isn't the imagery just so striking though of just these people just looking so intensely and angrily from the beach?
I just see a beach and the black people.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying though? It's creepy to me. Just like the sense of like we can't get any closer. Like they won't let us. Like that's as close as we can get.
I mean, we could, but again, nobody has the balls to do it the right way anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think that the people on these boats have the resources to get close. Like again, nobody goes in prepared because they it's just not. It's not what you do nowadays.
What you gotta do is you gotta send like a friendly like archaeology expedition to the island. They all get killed, right? And then you can go to the American people and be like, the fucking natives killed our own and they're evil and they want to cancel NASCAR. And then all the rednecks will be like, fucking invade them. And then you send an invasion. That's how you get it done. And then you send an invasion force.
Oh, no, D. You're wrong. And I'll tell you why. Because that already implies, like, selfish need. Like, when they sent the archaeology expedition in the first place. Here's what you need to do. You need to crash.
The American people don't care. What you do is you tell them, and we have reason to believe that they have oil.
No. Well, there you go. There's very King Kong.
And the Russians might be hiding weapons of mass destruction on the island.
No, you're playing on like 80s fears. What are you doing? What are you fucking?
It's coming back. Haven't you been paying attention with all the Russia-phobia going on in the recent election?
No,
it's coming back, man. It's coming back.
You got to put puppies and babies on. No, not babies, like kids on a plane and crash that plane on that island and be like, we got to go in and get them. That's how you get on. That's how you get on that island.
All you have to do is mention to the South that NASCAR might be in jeopardy, and you will instantly have an enlisted force of thousands of rednecks armed to the teeth with machine guns that they brought themselves. And
what if these people are like, we are going to eliminate curves so there's no turns in NASCAR, so it would just be all straightaways, which, it doesn't really work with NASCAR.
Fucking savages want to ruin NASCAR. And then they fucking go in there. Again, they bring their own guns. It's very efficient. You land them on the beach, and they just go to town.
Mm-hmm.
Within days, the island is just charred remains, and
Well, all right, dear. I guess the plan is to go to this island. Then you and me, we're going to be the first ones. We're going to be the ones who are going to go there with some chocolate, and we're going to woo the natives, right?
No.
Oh, just me.
I wonder if they'd be willing to trade for a white woman.
Well, I guess we'll have to give it a shot. Anybody willing to volunteer? Hit us up in the comments.
I say we take off and nuke the site from orbit.
It's the only way to be sure.
It is the only way to be sure.
And it's the only way to be sure that you can continue to follow us on the Demons from Outer Space as we continue our journey through lots of fucked up shit. because that is going to do it for this week's
The part that
episode.
pisses me off. The part that pissed me off about this, right? It's like, oh, we tried to like give them supplies, and they kept shooting down our helicopters. Fuck them.
Well, I think that was the mindset afterwards, but initially we were like, well, we'll try to be nice, and then after they got the spears thrown out, then they were like, all right, this ain't working.
Let them fucking die. Like, gee, like you can't help people like that. They don't understand. You know, you can't do it. You just gotta fucking let nature take its course.
Well, D, if I had the number for the Indian and Thailand relief fund, I would give you their number so you could call them and tell them to stop wasting their time. But I can't help you out. Again, if we have any volunteers in the comments that have that number, we're waiting. So hit us up before the Reliquary review.
I call India and they're like, "Thank you for calling Dell customer service." And I'll be like, "Actually, I was trying to talk to the relief fund." And he was like, "Oh, sorry." And he like changes his hats and he's like, "This is the Indian relief fund."
How do you know he changed hats if you're talking to him on the phone?
Well, that's what you do, you know, for comedic effect.
Okay, you didn't answer my question, but fine.
He does that sort of thing, you know. He knows the other person can't see him. He just does it to amuse himself.
Okay. Well, you could FaceTime him.
I've given this person a character, okay? And
all right, I thought a little too much about it. I overdeveloped the narrative. I'm sorry. I overloaded him with backstory. It's my bad. No, it's fine. But D, I'm tired, so stop overloading me with fucking your bullshit. Nah, it's cool. That's what we're here for. So D, are you ready to review Reliquary next week?
yeah, maybe.
We'll see what happens, won't we? So we hope that you will continue to stick with us as we continue to see what happens. Like us on Facebook at the Sons of Sarazawa Network homepage. Like us on Godzilla Odyssey. We will eventually get back to that sometime soon, we promise. And also look out for a couple of other series we got coming up in the future. No need to really announce those now. But one thing I will say is if you haven't already, you should go back and listen to our commentaries that we did for all of the King Kong films in our series called The Week of Kong. It's now available in a handy-dandy playlist on my YouTube channel, so go over, hop ahead to that, and give it a listen if you haven't already. It's good fun. We think so. We made it, so we would know, right? So that's pretty much gonna do it. So if there's nothing else, until next time, I'm Bill Worster, aka Zazubar.
And I'm Super DM64 saying, why don't we just do what we did last time and drop in blankets with smallpox?
Dylan's just going to continuously come up with ways to murder the people on this island until I just end the Skype call. And then after I end the Skype call, he's just going to go to Facebook and go, you know, if we have to wipe out people on an island, this is what we fucking do. So I hope that you can all look forward to that. Again, hop on a Facebook so you can follow that.